So good morning, everyone, and welcome to, I think it's Thursday. Boy, the days just fly by when you're in an anchor hold. It's hard to keep track. Kind of like summer when you were a kid. It's hard to keep track of what day of the week is because you're doing the same thing every time. So today we're going to look at another one of the lessons from the impersonal light and see where that takes us. So everyone take a nice deep breath. And let's welcome. That's all we need to do is to be open and welcome a new light to shine. And that begins by realizing that I can't know if I'm choosing to imagine myself as separate. Of course, I never am separate. Such a thing is impossible. What is whole is whole. But if I'm choosing to imagine that I'm separate, then I'm never going to be able to receive the gifts that are always being offered. So we welcome this light, we welcome this truth, and most of all, we welcome this experience. So just be open and receive this lesson now. My consciousness is the inner essence of all space and all life. The I am consciousness is the inner essence of all space and all life. Another way to say this would be, everything that is what it is through and as me. The I am consciousness we share. Everything that is what it is through and as me. The I am that we share. Do you see that there's nothing outside this? For my mind and my essence contain all that is and ever will be. Likewise, the truth of your essence is the same as the truth of my essence, because what is essential in one is essential in all and for all. What is essential in one is essential in all. That's a very high, very beautiful teaching. And it's the truth. Okay, let's go on. You may be trying to understand what you just heard through the faculty of your intellect. Good luck. It will only confuse you further, because the mind you are using, or at least trying to use, to understand this truth is not my mind. My and mind having capital M's. It is not my mind, and is therefore not in your mind. It's not in my mind, so it's therefore not in your mind. And what is not in my mind is not in your mind, and is therefore not real. It's only that mind that we share through which reality is and always will be, unthreatened completely. Okay. The intellectual mind you use to navigate through the world that you think you live in cannot see past itself. It cannot see past itself or its own limitations, and therefore cannot perceive the I am. It cannot perceive what I am or where I am, which is everywhere at once. You have identified with that mind and have therefore lost your way, wandering blindfolded through a forest you believe to be dark and foreboding. All I'm asking you to do is to take off the blindfold and see that the path before you is clearly lit and easily followed. All I'm asking you to do is to take off the blindfold, and then you'll see that the path before you is clearly lit and easily followed. The forest is not dark at all, as you believe, but it seemed so when your eyes were covered, when you were closing your eyes. But now they're not covered, now they're not closed, and everything appears before you as exactly as it really is, as opposed to how it seemed to be in your imagination. That's important. Now that your eyes are uncovered, everything appears before you exactly as it really is, as it's always been, as opposed to how it seemed to be in your imagination. Yes, I am everyone at once. And that is all that you need to know. And where I am, you will forever be. It's hard to even comment on or speak about this lesson, because it's revealing to us not only the limitation of our intellectual mind, but the complete ineffectiveness to see what is true, to see what is real. Because the intellectual mind, as it says here, cannot see past itself, or cannot see past the blindfold that you're wearing. If you were wearing a blindfold, the only thing that you would be able to see is the inside part of the blindfold, even if your eyes were actually open. In other words, you wouldn't see anything. And that's the truth of trying to see at all, see what is true through the intellectual mind, which was made not to see reality, which was made to believe in the illusion that you created all around you to hide from reality. So stop trying to get this intellectually and let it get you. Stop trying to figure this out and let it figure you out. That's all we need to do. It's so simple. Stop trying and just allow. Allow grace to be revealed, to show you the only way to heaven, which is, as we heard from that Rumi poem, you've been knocking from the inside. You're not outside knocking, trying to get in. You're knocking on the door from the inside. And all you need to do to realize that is open up your eyes. And you do that just by choosing, through a simple choice, to see. Most of all, I want to see. You have to have that desire, that longing to see, to feel, and to know what is true. And if that longing if it overwhelms everything that you have claimed until now, then your eyes, your spiritual eyes, will be open. So very simple. And I see Teddy is here, but I'm thinking maybe Vicky is not. So Teddy, you want to share anything?
Yeah, Vicky, as a matter of fact, she went to get a new pair of glasses with Bonnie. So I'm just sort of sitting in the car waiting for them to come back.
Okay.
And, and what it is you're saying, something that I learned, and I think we each learn how this works for ourselves. And it's given. It all has to be given as far as I'm concerned. Even though may have revelatory experiences, visions, direction, the thing that I have learned is to wait until the reflection sort of, calls me forth, and rather than initiate things on my own. So, I was sitting even today, I've known there's something that's going to happen next, and I had no idea what it is. And then in the last 24 hours, somebody asked me to do, to start a new magazine with them, a magazine that's devoted to spirit and realization and awakening, which I think is perfect at this point in time. So on my own, it's like alone, I don't need anything, but when in the shared wholeness of our mind, what comes forth is the direction that we need to head in order for us to learn that we are one and that we are not separate. And it's just sort of it's interesting, the way this all works and the fact that it does work. And you're right, appearances are what deceive us. And I'm no longer interested in being deceived by the appearances of separation, and the need to preserve myself in that state of separation, because it serves no purpose other than death. And in learning that I can't die and death will not solve my problem, I've learned that I have to be given a new way in which to proceed here. And the way is always in union with my brothers and for the purpose that we're given by, creation to serve, even though it may not look the way I know it to be in reality. The way to reality and the way to serve that purpose, because that, like you said, we're never separate, we're never outside that, is is in the sharing of the oneness of our mind and the willingness to not be alone here because we're not alone in reality.
Hmm. You know,
So
Teddy, you said one line that I wrote down here because it was so powerful for me. You called it the yearning to preserve myself within separation. Wow.
yes,
Yeah, that's what it is. We somehow yearn to preserve something within separation, which is just another way of saying yearning to preserve something that is not, rather than
that's right. Exactly.
what is.
Yep.
I think that encompasses the whole thing, doesn't it?
Yep. That's it. And life was given and life will continue to be given, and all that we need to live the life that we're here to live will come forth from that well that we all share, that well that we all are one with and one in.
Yes, all is well. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
right. Exactly. That's there's something that you said, and I wish I could remember the exact. It's the idea of it's like I can't figure myself out alone, and we are learning to how we are figured out of this world and into the reality where we're not figures in a dream, but we're whole and perfect beings as we have been created to be.
Yeah. I love this because it's like we're looking at the same thing from all these different angles, the angle that you might share or that Vicky might share or I might share or anyone else, but it's always the same thing. Open up your eyes and see what is real. See what is right in front of you. As long as you're blindfolded and trying to perceive something, you won't do it. It's not possible. You have to allow and you can't take the blindfold off yourself, by the way. As you said, it is given. It is given to us
Yep.
to be able res, to restore our sight. We can't restore our own sight because we're the ones who blind
Yes.
ourselves. But it can be restored through our
That's
single
right.
decision for it to be so.
That's right.
That's
That's right. It's always in those re words. Any word that begins with a re is the word we want to remember. Remember. We are trying to remember ourselves as not separate and in the wholeness that we were created to be.
and in doing so, we are renewed. Thank you, Teddy. That was beautiful. Let's